They started their shift expecting to return home to their families. But in a split second, everything changed. A routine traffic stop in Evans, Georgia, turned into a tragedy that rocked an entire community. Tonight, we remember the sacrifice of two heroes and the heartbreaking reality they faced.
Welcome to The Silent Witness, where we highlight true crime news, unsolved mysteries, unfold chilling stories and events around us to educate and provide information on how we can stay proactive, informed, be security and safety conscious in our environment. The Silent Witness is your go-to destination for gripping accounts of real-life crimes, missing persons, cold cases, and unexplained events. Want to support us and appreciate our craft? Click like, comment, and hit the subscribe button now. Please note that all related materials referenced in this video were majorly sourced from either official court or police documents, reference statements, or other reputable sources, weeding out the speculation theories and unverified information.
It was supposed to be just another Saturday afternoon in Evans, Georgia, a quiet suburban town just 10 miles northwest of Augusta. Families filled grocery stores. Little league games echoed across fields. Laughter, normalcy, life. Deputies Brandon Sikes and Gavin White, two men deeply rooted in their community and committed to service, had set out to perform what should have been a standard traffic stop. They had been assigned to locate James Blake Montgomery, a man who had recently been served a temporary protective order for threats against a woman he once knew. Montgomery was last reported traveling in a camper, heading down Interstate 20 near Belair Road. Deputy Brandon Sikes was no stranger to tough assignments. A 12-year veteran of the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, he was known not only for his sharp instincts in the field, but for his deep compassion off-duty. Married to his high school sweetheart Amber, Brandon was the proud father of a 10-year-old daughter, Lindsay, who was the center of his world. Beyond his badge, Brandon was a Little League softball coach, a mentor to at-risk teens, and an active member of his church's outreach program, often spending his weekends volunteering at local shelters and food banks. His co-workers said he had a way of making everyone feel safe, not just protected but truly cared for. Deputy Gavin White was younger but already respected within the department for his tactical skill and calm under pressure. Engaged to his longtime love, Haley Sward, Gavin had been planning their wedding for later this year. Gavin's passion for service came from a long line of public servants. His father, a retired police officer, his mother, a nurse who spent years working in emergency rooms. Gavin was deeply committed to community policing, often volunteering for youth initiatives aimed at building trust between officers and the neighborhoods they served. He had dreams of one day becoming a field training officer, helping to shape the next generation of deputies. As they approached the RV that afternoon, both men knew the risks, but neither hesitated. Both men believed deeply in community policing, that being visible, kind, and fair mattered just as much as writing tickets or making arrests. They never imagined that their devotion would cost them everything. At around 3:45 p.m., a call came over dispatch. Erratic driver on Belair Road. White pickup truck. Swerving between lanes. Possible intoxication. Possible weapons. A call like dozens they had answered before. As they approached the RV that afternoon, both men knew the risks, but neither hesitated. They found the truck near mile marker 194, near a clearing between industrial lots. They initiated a standard traffic stop, calm, methodical, dashcams rolling, lights flashing. A scene that should have ended with a citation, maybe an arrest, but instead ended with bloodshed. Inside the truck was James Blake Montgomery, 41 years old, a man with a history, a 2022 felony aggravated assault charge later exonerated, though many in law enforcement circles whispered that justice had slipped through the cracks that day. Montgomery had simmered in resentment ever since, carrying a growing hatred for law enforcement that no court document could erase. As the deputies approached the driver's side and one of the deputies took the passenger flank, Montgomery acted. Without warning, without a word, he opened fire. Deputy Brandon Sikes was struck fatally before he could react. Deputy Gavin White was hit in the face but managed to survive, critically wounded. Chaos erupted. Sirens wailed. Georgia State Patrol troopers flooded the area. Helicopters whirled overhead. Witnesses later said it sounded like fireworks. Brutal, rapid pops tearing the calm afternoon apart. Backup arrived within minutes, but for one of them, it was already too late. The manhunt was immediate and merciless. Helicopters thundered overhead, slicing through the fading daylight. Drones scanned the thick tree lines. Georgia State Patrol sealed off roads as SWAT teams moved through neighborhoods. Residents in the Arrowwood mobile home community were ordered to shelter in place, their homes surrounded by squads with rifles drawn. Law enforcement found Montgomery's trail at a rundown trailer park off Wrightsboro Road. Inside one of the abandoned campers, thermal scans picked up movement. Officers were ordered to photograph the suspect in the trailer, signaling they had eyes on him and were preparing for a possible standoff. By 9:30 p.m., Major Steve Morris of the Columbia County Sheriff's Office later confirmed Montgomery was no longer a threat. No arrest photos, no courtroom drama, only silence. Justice, in whatever form, had been dealt. News spread quickly. Shock rolled through Columbia County like a black tide. Flags dropped to half-staff. Blue ribbons were tied around every light pole in Evans. Strangers knelt outside the sheriff's office, lighting candles. Children Deputy Stone had coached in Little League left flowers at his patrol car parked outside headquarters, now transformed into a shrine. Mayor Garnett Johnson spoke for a city in mourning. We honor their sacrifice and pray for the difficult days ahead. Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr posted a grim reminder. Those willing to wear the badge risk their lives every day for us. We owe them more than thanks. We owe them unwavering support. Governor Brian Kemp added, their sacrifice demands our enduring respect and gratitude. For Amber and Lindsay, the world collapsed into unimaginable grief. A man who had tucked his daughter into bed just the night before would never walk through their front door again. At the sheriff's office, Brandon's empty locker became a memorial almost overnight. Flowers, badges, handwritten notes from deputies and citizens alike, all honoring a man who had given everything for the community he loved. For Deputy White, the road to recovery would be long and painful. Haley never left his side, holding his hand as he fought through surgeries and critical care. Gavin's parents spoke of his toughness, his unbreakable spirit, the same strength that had propelled him into law enforcement in the first place. Across Georgia, leaders spoke out. Deputy Brandon leaves behind a wife who now must raise 2 children alone, and a community that will forever feel the hole he left behind. A man who once bought cleats for underprivileged kids, now memorialized by tear-streaked faces at a vigil. Deputy White fights for his life, and if he survives, he will carry scars far deeper than any surgeon can heal. His fiancée still wears her engagement ring, praying the future they dreamed of isn't gone. 2 deputies answered a call for help. 2 lives changed forever. 1 family shattered. Another waiting on the edge of hope. A town that once felt so safe now haunted by the price paid for that safety. And through it all, the badge remains, not just a symbol of authority, but of sacrifice. Of love for a community even in the face of mortal danger. Evans, Georgia, a small town known more for golf courses and quiet suburban life, now stood in solemn unity, mourning a hero, praying for a survivor, and reflecting on the high cost of service. The town will never forget April 26, 2025, because heroes walk among us, and sometimes they fall. Their families, their stories, their sacrifices will never be forgotten.